Okay, well, I ended up giving up on the tripod because no matter what I did, I couldn't get it set up where everyone can see. And I hope everyone could see this way. If you could see the setup, you'd probably get tickled, but whatever works. I'm sure what would be perfect is if I could put my phone on my shoulder or right on top, like a GoPro. But I don't have that stuff, and this is what's working. So I hope everyone can see and has enough light. All right, so I've got my 11 strands. This is the beginning of the rug, and I'm just going to get through a few rows with you in this video, one step at a time, and I'll post them sporadically as I get them done for everybody to go back and refer to them as they're able. The last video posted, like I said, of the written pattern, just going to be a little bit more time because I want to make sure that I can give everybody a full list of supplies and size, how much you'll need to make a rug and what size it will work out. And I also would like to put the oval in there as well, so you have the patterns for both in one. Okay, so quickly, because I'm dragging on. Just a regular slip knot, that's what I use. Working with several strands is going to be a bit challenging. You're going to have to make sure none slip away from you. Just sticking to the basics. I think most everybody with some crochet experience can probably figure out most of this on their own, but still, this is how I do it. So I've got my 11 strands. I'm going to chain 4. Pull some of this over here so it won't slow me down so much. So my chain 4. And you'll have to make sure, you'll want to pull it taut every so often to make sure you've got all your strands in there, because some tension will loosen up on some. You want to crochet pretty tight. You are going to get a little bit of a workout. So I've got my chain 4, and I'm just going to slip stitch and form a ring. Okay, so you've got this. You want this pretty long too when you start out. Hush. Hush. Hannah. I apologize. They're being really ornery this morning, of course, since I've got something to get done. So anyway, did my slip stitch. You want to keep this long because eventually you're going to weave all those in, and you want when you wash your rug, the tension's going to loosen up a little bit. So you want to make sure you've got these woven in. I'll get to that towards the end, but just make sure in the beginning keep those long. So I've got my slip stitch, and just for the purpose of the first round, I work in continuous rounds. I don't usually use a slip stitch once you get further, but for this one, chain 1, and then we're going to do 6 single crochets in this ring. And I'll tell you something else you can try to do is you want to try to tuck this a little bit as you go weave it. It's not going to go anywhere if you don't, but I like the extra body and the security of it. So I've got my 2. And I am working my muscles. You will feel it pull up here. Okay, I'm gonna get to my 6. And I hope I'm not pulling this out of focus. I'll check before I post it, and I sure hope I don't have to do it again because I've redone several. Okay, it's gonna look bowled up like that when you first start. Trust me, it's gonna stretch out. So it's gonna be tight. You can see that in there, but it's gonna sort out. So don't worry if it looks, that first 6 looks a little bowled up. Let's see, I've got 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, for the next round. And if you want to, at this point, you can place a stitch marker. I don't start using those until, let's see, until about the 4th row, and I'll show you that. I'm going to get you that far today. So anyway, I've got my 6, and I am not going to do the slip stitch and chain 1 this time. I'm just going to start working continuously in the round. And so I'm going to do 2 single crochets in each one of my 6 single crochets, so I will have 12 at the end of the row. And you see how that yarn is starting to pop up there. You'll want to pull that taut every so often. And if one does get away from you where you miss it and you're not too far into your rug, I suggest going back and picking up the loop. If you've gotten quite a ways and you see one little loop hanging in the back, and it's going to happen, trust me, I'll show you how to fix that. It's not going to go anywhere. It's just you have to make sure you tuck it in really well. So let's see, where am I at here? Okay, if I get a little quiet on you, Dawn, I'm just used to being by myself during the day, and I work pretty much with music. I'm not a talker. Let's see where I'm at. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I need 4 more. And I'm going to pull that, get that out. Okay, so this should put me at 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I very much apologize for my bad dogs. They, of course, when you want to, most of the days they lay around and they're quiet. But let me try to get something done. Okay, so I've started my chain 4, slip stitch to form a ring. I did 6 single crochets in that ring, and then I did 2 single crochets in each one of the 6. Okay, still working in the round. At this point, what I'm going to do is do 2 more single crochets in each of my 12. That's going to give me 24. Not a rocket scientist. I'm not trying to treat anybody like they're dummies. Hannah, you're not being very cooperative. Okay. Some of you will feel this in your back as well. You're going. When I get on a rug making binge, when I've got a lot of stash, go somewhere. Go on. You're being naughty. Then and I make several in a row for several days. I will feel it in the back of my arms. It's a workout. It really is. And I've even broken a sweat when I really get to flying. Okay, so. And I totally lost count with my naughty girl barking, so I'm going to have to stop and get a count. I should have 24 by the time I do here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Mm-hmm. And what I will do when I do the pattern is I'll give you lots of pictures of each step. That's just going to take me a little time to do, to make it easier for people. This would be torture for me sitting and watching the video. I'm one of those, let's get with it people, or work at my own rate. So if this is boring and dragging, I understand. I'm not offended. Okay, let me see where I'm at. I think I got one more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2. One more. Okay, and I should now have 24. I should mention about the missed loops earlier. It's a good idea to go in the back and check every once in a while to see if you have. I have a habit of just flying along and not doing that. You can see here some are loose. That's an example of one that's loose. I'm gonna leave that for now so I don't put you guys through, but I'll show you how to tuck those in later on the next series. Okay, so I've got 24 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. At this point, it's a good idea to place a stitch marker in the beginning of your row, because now is where we're going to start doing even increases of 12. 12 increases evenly around. Anybody that's done a flat circle knows how it goes. So, you know, it'll be crochet in 2 crochets in the first single crochet, 1, 2, every other. I did not grab anything for a stitch marker, so let me see if I can get something contrasting just real quick. I just use a piece of yarn, usually a big bulky piece. I have pretty stitch markers, I have pretty hooks, but I'm pretty basic when it comes to my crochet, and I have nothing here, so I'm just gonna wing it. But no, we better not. I'll just tie this in later. Let me clip something here. I usually you can place it wherever. I usually put mine here, and I'm just gonna lay it across there. So, all right, now you're gonna start slowing down your increases. If we were to continue with the 2 in each one, the piece would start to ripple. If I do even rows between every other row, but I'm not going to start that until after the increases. Of course, if you don't increase enough, it's going to start to bowl up on you and buckle. So, all right, recapping, and bear with me because I know this gets old. You can skip through the video as you need to. All right, we did the chain 4, 6 single crochets in the chain, then 2 single crochets in each one of the 6, which gave us 12, and then 2 single crochets in each one of the 12, which we now have 24. And you see that bowl I told you about? See how that's flattened out? So, you know, that's perfectly normal because you've got a lot, when you first start, you've got a lot of material there in a little space. And you could see how nice and thick this is looking. So, all right, your first increase, these have all been increased row, but your first even increase of 12. So I'm going to do 2. I'm going to do where I just do 2 every other stitch. 2. Right, so there's 2. And then 1 in the next, 3. And I'm going to count because, so you should have 36. In other words, every row you increase, you're going to add 12. All right, so let's see, 1, 2, 3. I've got 3, 2 in this one, 4 and 5. 6. Hannah, please stop. Stop. She hears the dogs across the street barking. Anything moves, at least the other one is not chiming in because I would have to stop and redo. Okay. And if you've gotten this far, let me know if you're feeling it in your wrists and your arms. It's a good workout, but it might be best, if you tend to get sore or your fingers get sore, it might be best to take little breaks. I actually get a blister right here every time I get on a rug making binge. My husband told me when I made a bunch this past January, because I did, like, it might have been late January, early February, I had a lot of yarn left over from all of my blankets. And so I would get up in the mornings while the boys were sleeping on break, and I would go sit in my chair in there and make rugs in the studio. And that's when I was telling you I was breaking the sweat, and I was doing so many, moving so fast that I rubbed the skin raw there, and I was chafed. And my husband said I was a masochist. I kept going because I didn't really feel it. Okay, so I'm getting around and pull that. And I hope I haven't bored anybody terribly bad yet. I really wish I were better at this type of thing to show everybody, so I didn't have to drag it out so much and could get to the point a lot quicker. Just I'm not used to doing this, and I really did. I have so many people ask me about these, and I really did want to share. I just wish I were better at it for all of you, for your benefit. I think by the time I get going done with this one, most of you will have a good idea of how it's working and probably not even need the written, but I'm still going to get that typed up for you. I don't know. I'm doing this in between commissions, and I am busy. This has been my busiest year ever. I've got several turtle blankets to get done, some sunshine blankets, and every day I have somebody message and say, oh, can you squeeze me in? And at this point, I am just really, I'm not taking any more for Christmas promises because I want to be able to keep my Christmas promises. Okay, I am almost to the end of my 12 increase, and at this point I should have 36. So, and see, it's looking kind of wonky there. Don't worry about it. It's, if you're anal about stuff like that, like I am, it's gonna drive you nuts. But trust me, I've done enough of these. It's gonna look fine. Let me do a quick count. Let's see. Okay, I've got 36. All right, so you can move your stitch marker up at this point. Now, what I do in between every 12 increase row is an even row. It keeps your rug from buckling up too much. You may not have to do it. I do. I don't know why. That just works. But also, it just kind of straightens everything out, puts a little shape into it, kind of rounds it out a little bit. So at this point, I would do an even row. Okay. So I'm going to cut you guys loose real quick after this. And then I think everybody should pretty much be able to move on without any extra help. But I'm still going to post the videos. But I think this is going to seal it for you. Oh, well, I am going to show you finishing. And that's a big key. I kind of take pride in the way my rugs look just on the finishing, but we'll get to that. Okay, so at this point, you've done, I'm not going to go back through that. We're at our first even increase, 36. Do an even row, and then your next row will be 12 increases. So you will double crochet, I'm so sorry. 2 single crochets in your first crochet, single crochet, single crochet, 2 single crochets in your fourth. Do you see where I'm going? Actually, so you will have a total of 48. Every time you increase a row, it should be a count of an additional 12 on it. So even row of 36 after this, 48, even row of 48. Does everybody get where I'm going with that? I'm glad to do this. I'm going to stop now, though, and kind of post this, give you guys a chance to look through the video and ask questions, and that'll give me an idea of where I need to go with the next video or the next tutorial, demo, whatever you call it. Please be kind to me, and I'm sorry if it's bored, and I really am trying to help. I'm just not very good at this thing. So with that being said, I'm gonna tune out and get this posted on Facebook, and I appreciate all y'all.